Irreversible Damage examines the phenomenal explosion of trans identification among teenage girls in the USA over the past decade. It is one of the best books I have read over the past year, a thoroughly enjoyable, informative, and important book. Here are 10 reasons you should read it. Number 1. To understand this controversial topic, transgenderism is a modern example of what the Nazi minister of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, called the Great Lie. Understand how and why you have been lied to about transgenderism, and you will understand much about the nature of power and the power of information. 2. It's extremely fascinating. Politics aside, teenage girls destroying their body and futures in pursuit of a delusion is very interesting. Number 3. The book relates many great stories. It's filled with the tragic tales of the victims of this self harm cult. They are harrowing, dramatic, pitiful, and sad, and make for excellent reading. Number 4. This book speaks truth to power. For years now, trans has been the golden favourite of the leftist establishment. To write a critical expose of trans ideology is to take a stand against the cultural hegemon. Just reading it is a middle finger to the establishment. They don't want you to read this book, which is why you should. Number 5. The freak show that is the extreme body horror of transitioning. I have honestly never read anything in horror or science fiction as horrifying as the body horror stories in this book. Lifelong damage and suffering is the price many young girls have paid for the teenage mistake of falling in with a crowd of weirdos or going through an identity fad when once the only long-term fallout from such teenage phases was embarrassing photos that would provide a good laugh years later. Number 6, it cuts through lies and bullshit. Transgenderism is one of the most lied about topics in the West. It is housed within a fortress of deceit, protected by a moat of bullshit. This book smashes through all of that. It is the honest child that points to the naked emperor and says, "That's not a woman." Number 7. It's excellently researched. This book is the result of a huge amount of interviews with experts and victims, reading and research. It is not an ideological rant. It comes from a place of compassion, common sense, non-political science, that is to say, real science, and clear understanding informed by objective investigation. Number 8. Irreversible Damage is hyper controversial and has been review bombed. Any book that has received as much hate, ratioing, fake reviews, and censorship attempts as Irreversible Damage deserves to be read. This is the Life of Brian effect. Try to cancel a cultural work you don't like, and you only make it stronger. The powerful want this book gone, so read it. Number 9. It's a call to reason. This book encourages the idea that maybe teenage girls who are experiencing confusion about their identity are nothing new and nothing abnormal, and certainly not men. Just normal, depressed teenage girls going through a tough time in their life, looking for their place in the world. This is the kind of logic and experience-based common sense that the left want expunged. Number 10. Transgenderism is placed in context as a mass psychosis and a semi-religious cult. The book describes teenage girls utterly enthralled to the newfound purpose transgenderism gives them, lonely kids who find objects of worship in the form of trans YouTubers, entire circles of friends converting into the cult together, girls going back to normal after their parents get them off the internet, how self-torture is treated as a rite of passage among trans communities. This book gives the reader a clear understanding that the trans explosion is a socially conditioned mania and has no scientific validity.